Welcome to A Well-Designed Business with your host, LuAnn. LuAnn has a lifetime of experience building a multi-million-dollar business with her husband and cousin, and she knows the challenges you face in your interior design business. LuAnn brings you real-life answers to your most pressing problems, as well as practical strategies to explode your interior design business. So, let's get to the business of interior design.
Hi, welcome to Power Talk Friday on A Well-Designed Business. Today's show is sponsored by FreshBooks. FreshBooks and I started talking a few months ago about them being a regular sponsor for the show. And both of us being pretty smart business people, we each wanted to make certain before we joined forces and before either of us attached our own names to the other, we wanted to see who we were getting involved with. So FreshBooks, for their part, asked for a trial of 2 or 3 30-second ad spots. And I said, okay, sure, that's cool. But I actually have to know if you're right for my listeners before I will do any commercials for you. A lot of people have approached me for sponsorship over these last couple of years. And if I don't think it's a right fit for you guys, I don't even get past the point of, hello and no. So, but FreshBook, this whole thing intrigued me. And I said to them, yes, let's do the 2 or 3 commercials. But what better way for me to know if they are right than to apply my ninja interview tactics to them, right? So I wanted the chance to ask any and every question that I thought would be helpful for you to decide if FreshBooks was right for you. So that interview is today. I have to say, I am curious what you will think about FreshBooks after listening today, but I love it. I think FreshBooks is a terrific platform for you for helping you track the money side of your business. And you will hear me talk with Julie about how I think it's the perfect side companion to My Doma Studio. And let's just be real. I called Sarah Daniele, the CEO of My Doma Studio, before I did this interview. And Sarah said, yes, 100% green light. She loves the FreshBooks platform as well. So listen in as Julie Curr, the Marketing Communications Strategist at FreshBooks, explains all the details of how this platform was specifically designed for the small service-based industry to help you efficiently input, track, and analyze your operations, your projects, your business. Stay tuned to the end because Julie shares an offer for you so that you can try it out for yourself. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Power Talk Friday on A Well-Designed Business, and I am happy to let you know that I have a new thing. I love bringing new things to you guys. So I have Julie Curr with me today. Julie Curr is the Marketing Communications Strategist at FreshBooks. Hi, Julie. How are you?
Hi, great, LuAnn. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to talk to you guys.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I know when I just said I'm bringing you guys something new, I know that I didn't I'm not the first person to ever tell you about FreshBooks. I know that, but I think I might be the first person that's going to pick it apart for you so you could see if maybe FreshBooks might be a great platform for your business. And that's what we're going to do with Julie today because I'm thinking that FreshBooks is going to be really a terrific tool to align with your interior design business. I know you know how much I know and love My Doma Studio. And my understanding from Sarah Daniele is that FreshBooks is something that works right alongside My Doma Studio for you. And the two of them together can be a powerful little thing for you to be a little engine there for you to running the business side of your business. So we have Julie here. And I'm going to find out if it really is a good fit for us, right, Jewel?
Yeah.
Okay, hot seat. Don't get panicked.
No pressure.
Okay, so first of all, Julie, for any of the listeners out there that really maybe they haven't heard of FreshBooks yet, tell us first what is FreshBooks?
Yeah, absolutely. So FreshBooks is a cloud accounting-based software that helps you keep track of your business. It has so many powerful tools that will help you, exactly as LuAnn said, to be a partner and help you grow your business and run it smoothly. We take the stress out of accounting. We're ridiculously easy to use. We help you organize your expenses, track your time, and collaborate seamlessly with your employees, as well as, get that billing sorted and get you paid faster.
Okay. So tell me, Julie, when you guys at FreshBooks design this product and you put it out into the world, you hear on the podcast all the time, we talk about our ideal client, the one that we are talking to and that we're trying to attract. Who is the ideal client for FreshBooks?
Yeah, our ideal client are small service-based business owners or solopreneurs. We're not a one-size-fits-all accounting software. In fact, we're actually purpose-built with folks like you guys in mind, designed for people who get paid for their time and their expertise. So as I mentioned, it's really easy to use, and it's designed for the non-accountant. So you don't have to focus your energy on, all of your billing and receipts and things like that. We want to leave you more time to do what matters most, doing what you love and actually getting paid for it. We want to take the fear out of accounting for everybody and make it sort of an easy thing for you to do and not something that we dread all at tax time.
Okay. So I have to say, these are some of the things that you just said in there are legitimately precisely the reason that I was interested in talking to you today about FreshBooks, Julie, because those are, look, I've had episodes on the show where I've tried to times 20 times 40 and I couldn't do it. So honestly, and didn't edit it out. How's that for, nerve?
That's good. It's authentic.
I mean, but this was the thing that I sort of thought was your lane, and that it's not accounting software for accountants. And you don't know this about me, Julie, but my listeners know this about me, that I'm so fortunate because in my business in WindowWorks, my husband is an accountant and he does all the business side of our business and, the numbers side of our business. But there will be a day that I'll have to take this over. And I just stand there. And of course I've learned a ton, but like this level, this actual day to day of accounting for the accounting is where my brain just freezes over. It's like, oh, good Lord, I don't want to do it. So
absolutely.
So tell me, what do you mean when you say it's accounting software for non-accountants? Tell us a little bit why.
Absolutely. So essentially, we know that starting your own business is hard enough. You have your clients to worry about, you have your service, you have your clients, and then you have your vendors, and you have your employees, and there's a lot going on. So what we have decided to do is generate a software that allows you to make billing painless. So you can go on, you can track all of your data within your invoice. There's templates that are there for you to use. Tested templates that we know get you paid faster, input all your data and automatically send it out.
Okay.
So it's really easy for you to sort of all of your information about your client, all the addresses and things like that are all right there within the software, and you can just hit send and get paid.
Okay. And you said something in there. You said that the templates are designed to encourage paying faster or quicker. You said something right there. What does that mean exactly? What have you learned there?
Oh, absolutely. So just, we've looked at, based on all of our research, we've looked at industry standards, and there's a science towards making a great invoice. We want it to look beautiful. We want it to reflect your brand, but we also need to make sure that it's presenting all the proper information, that whether it's a client or a vendor or whoever's paying you, that they have everything up front and they can either pay directly from the invoice or it's as seamless as possible. So we've just kind of looked at the industry standards and built a template. There's a couple actually within our software that you can use. That will not only look great and give you an opportunity to showcase your own brand, but will help you do business properly and get paid faster.
Okay. And the templates that you have, are they customizable so that when the client receives it, it can say Sally Smith Design Studio, or does it say this is, is it a generic and it says nothing, or it says generated from FreshBooks? How does that work?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's a great question, and we get that a lot. We do have templates, as I mentioned, but they're able to be customized based on your logo, as well as the colors and things like that. One of our templates actually allows you to upload a lifestyle image if that fits your brand better. And it does say, it'll have your company name on it. When you do send the email, it's coming from you, that just FreshBooks backed. It doesn't have a big FreshBooks logo on the side or anything like that. It's about representing your business and making you look professional.
Okay. I like that. My Doma Studio does that. Acuity does that. So these are, it's I half expected the answer to be yes, because I am finding more and more that most platforms are understanding that yes, we all want a simple, easy tool to use to do these things, but we don't want to look like we're using a simple, easy tool that everybody and their brother is using, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some customizability, but it's also enough, it's structured enough that it still has all the information that you need.
Right, that we can't make it wrong.
Exactly. Again, making it as easy as possible.
It's like you forgot the amount at the bottom, lady. Okay. All right. I like it. Okay. So, and that's interesting that it's customizable to the point of colors too, because my peeps out there that now they're all like, wow, pretty invoices.
No, and even the modern one too, where you can bring in an image and then you can create a new header colors that pull out colors from within the image. It looks great. They look awesome and they still get the job done. So.
Okay. I'm just realizing I actually have not looked at one yet. So I'll have to do that. That's it. You've got me intrigued. I can tell you that. Okay, so tell me about how the flow works. Is it I think somewhere you mentioned in there that you can track hours and things like that too. Tell me about the flow. If you could imagine, Julie, an interior designer that maybe, one scenario there we have solos out there, in another scenario we have designers with one person on staff to 25 people on staff. Let's assume. But let's take both situations for example. First, with this example of a designer with staff. Is this something that you would give access to a staff person, an admin or a bookkeeper, and they would input the information? Or do you see this more as a tool that the proprietor, the principal, should input their information for some reason because there's other proprietary information in there maybe that you don't share with all of your employees? Or how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. I can walk you through that. What's great is you have the choice. You can do one or the other, and it all depends on your personal preference. So luckily within FreshBooks, we do have a project center. And what happens is if you're working on a project with a certain amount of employees or maybe a third-party vendor or contractor, you can create a project folder and invite your employees, your third-party contractors, and everybody to work seamlessly and collaborate within that folder, all within FreshBooks. So they can track their time. You can actually talk to one another throughout it. There's a little message board. You can see sort of all the hours that are logged based on maybe the amount that you've budgeted for, so if you're going over or if you have some breathing room. And then from there, you actually are able to take all of that time that you've tracked and turn it into an invoice directly from within FreshBooks. So it's really within a click of a button, and you're already ready to bill a client.
Okay. All right. Okay. And so is the platform, is it a place where information more than just individual project monies, for lack of a better way to describe it, is kept? In other words, is any of my bigger business picture money kept there? Not physically kept there, but records of my bigger picture money kept there? Or is it literally a platform for, I'm talking about like when I want to go to my accountant at the, every quarter and sit down, but not necessarily like that information I need privy to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that has access to the projects in there. So for instance, am I putting my sales tax in there and my estimated quarterly taxes in there and all of that stuff? Or is this strictly invoice and billing for products and services?
So yes, for your employees, if they are on your account and they are employees and they have access to those project folders, they will be able to also have access to your reports, which include things like your profit and loss report, your sales tax summary, accounts aging, and things like that. But really all of our reports, everything that we've created has just been designed to get you the most important information about your business really quickly. So give you a sense of how much money you're making, how much money you're spending, and where you're spending your time. And we really just want to understand when you open up the software, you'll actually get a sense of right away how your business is performing. But you will have to share that information with employees if you give them access.
Okay, so you don't have a way yet to have doors on these different things. If you're
Not
in,
as of yet.
you're in, you're in. Okay. Well, I mean, you might think about it. Just saying.
For your bookkeeper, though, we do recommend, what's great about these reports is that you're able to just email directly. So they're all exportable, and you can either send directly from the app or download as a PDF or an Excel, whatever your bookkeeper would need. And so they don't need to go in and access everything. You're able to sort of pull that out and give them all the relevant information.
Okay. So let's just say this. So if a particular principal really is not interested in everyone in her business knowing all of her details for her financials, she can ultimately, or he can ultimately, be the one that enters the information and then just share out with the bookkeeper. It's not the bookkeeper that I'm worried about having all of that information. It's like the person that might be a project manager that's on the team for a year and then they leave. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but you can just export and share out what you want.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. I like it. Okay. And it does, if I'm the business owner, and I have been religiously, and not doing garbage in, garbage out, but I have religiously been entering my financial information. I can sit down on Tuesday and click year-to-date sales and get a report on year-to-date sales or month-to-date sales.
Yeah, they're all filterable, so you can look in, and if you need to just pull from last week or a month or a quarter, whatever you need, it'll all be there. You're able to sort of filter between any of the reports that we have, which is fantastic. But for even just keeping track of all of those things, like for your expenses, as an example, you can actually take a picture of an expense report and upload it directly, and then that gets calculated and generated into your expense report. So it's all sort of happening on the back end, and there's way less manual labor. You don't have to come with a shoebox full of receipts and input all of the details. If at the end of each week, you can kind of do it on the go, and it just makes it a lot more manageable.
Wait a second. Are you saying that if I go and fill up my car with gas and I want to enter that as an expense into my business, at the gas station, I can take a picture of the receipt?
Yes, you can. And you uploads and you take a picture of the receipt. You might have to, input a couple of things of information, but it'll upload, and then it'll start to actually show in your account right away.
That's mind-boggling. I mean, that is mind-boggling right there. And so you're saying if I go on a business trip and I stay in the hotel, I can take a picture of the receipt and upload it, hit a couple of things, and it's not just like a document living there. It actually converts it and places it on the ledger sheet in the columns that it needs to go in. Like, I guess I probably have to say hotel expense or gas expense or whatever, but it uploads it as a number, and then the picture just goes wherever it goes.
Right, exactly. And when you're in the app on the browser, you can drag. If you've taken a picture before and you didn't upload it right away, that's fine. You save it, or if you scan the receipt, you can drag it up on the app as well. It's super easy. You can either bill it to a client, you can actually, or just mark it as non-billable so you can still see it. And you can actually even make it recurring if it's something like a retainer or something like that for a client. You can do that up front, and so you don't have to it takes the manual entry out of it.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. You might have the Vincennes man now. I'm just saying, my husband. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we have 7, 8 vehicles on the road, and all he does is spend his entire week on, give me your gas receipts, give me your gas receipts, give me your gas receipts. It's like and the thing is, he'll ask, me and Billy are the ones he has to ask like 5 days in a row, and then finally be like, that's it. I want the gas receipts by Friday. And we're all like, all right, let me go get my receipts.
No, and it's great, too, because it has it all organized by tax category as well. So come tax time, when you pull those reports, it's going to be all organized for you.
That's amazing. And I'll tell you what, that's amazing for a company like ours. That's like on the bigger side of companies. And we've got one person that's the systems Nazi and the money Nazi, like my husband, and he's chasing all of these moving parts. But I also can see the huge value of a solo designer, because one of the things that I've learned with working with a lot of solo designers is that they aren't accounting for all of the deductible expenses for their business. They're like losing track of the gas receipts, and they're losing track if they take their client to lunch. And, they just, look, life is busy. There's only so many things you can get done in a day, and you have to forgive yourself when you aren't exactly, hitting all the bells and whistles 7 days a week. But the reality is, those gas trips and those luncheons and those tolls, it's $15 for us to go into New York City. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
Yes,
and
that's
you
crazy.
can even one step further is that you can actually connect to your bank. A lot of the times, like, you can connect your credit card if you just have one for business, and it can pull in expenses. And if you go through, you can delete the ones that you don't want or keep the ones that you do, and automatically put it on an invoice. You can decide whether or not you want to bill it to a client or keep it as your own expense.
Oh my goodness, this just gets better and better. Okay, so what you're telling me is that if, like, we have like four employees four employees that are at the level that have a WindowWorks credit card. So what you're saying is that we can hook that credit card to the FreshBooks, and now he doesn't even have to chase all of us for every Tom, Dick, and Harry little thing that we spent on the WindowWorks credit card that month. It all just is going to magically appear in FreshBooks, and he opens it up and says, LuAnn spent this here, and Billy spent that there. Is that right?
Exactly. Yes, that is right.
I have to say, this is an amazing tool. I had a suspicion that it was a great tool for what we're doing, but I had no idea of the depth and the layers of it. It's reminding me of when I interviewed Gavin Kuklinski, the CEO and the founder of Acuity, because it's the same thing. I was shocked at the layers that it could be helpful to our businesses. And I'm going to just repeat myself here, because honestly, for a bigger business, a designer that might have 15 or 20 or 30 people on staff, you're like, of those 30 people, maybe 10 have access to a company credit card. And maybe you're providing gas and transportation to and from job sites for 15 of those people. And you're done chasing them now. You make it a responsibility for them to either upload the receipts by a photograph, or you can make it a responsibility that everything is purchased through that credit card, and then it's all coming over seamlessly. Mm-hmm. That's exactly amazing. Okay. And then again, I was just stressing that for the smaller interior design firm, the solo that is literally running to the design center, paying for a toll, paying for parking, running in, sourcing something, and then scooting the heck out of Dodge to pick up kids at 3:00 and thinks, oh, I'll figure out those receipts later. Doesn't have to do that. Just uses the credit card for all of it. Oh my goodness.
Really, our vision is to create a world where small business owners can run their business without having to learn accounting, run around, and just really, we want to make it easy for you. That's what we're here for. So
okay, and so okay, that's a good point. Learn accounting. Okay, so take me a step further. So say you're an interior designer, you're not really sure how the accounting and the bookkeeping works, but say you were to religiously do this for 1 month. Let's just say you set it up, you religiously, and by the way, this started about making invoicing easier. And now I'm all about making operations and expenses easier, because that is huge. Mm-hmm. I mean, my whole thing in, working with interior designers is that you have to know how much it costs to be open. You have to know what you need to earn in order to be profitable. And so this is the first step. It's always the first step, is tracking your expenses and plotting them out, the fixed expenses and all the fluctuating expenses. And so this just takes that whole, and because, when I talk to designers like this, they're like me, their eyes glaze over. It's like, I don't want to do that. It's
right.
like, I don't want to either, but I've learned how important it is. So, okay. So what we're saying, though, is that say I'm a designer and I have little experience with, once we have all of this information collated, I have little experience in what to do with it, how to analyze it, or how to approach it and learn and see the trends and what's coming in my business and the health or unhealth of my finances. So are we saying that as long as I can commit to religiously entering all of this stuff in, that I could probably have a scheduled once a month meeting with a bookkeeper, accountant, or tax coach to just say, okay, it's all here. Teach it to me. What does it mean? Like, what does this report mean? What does this report mean? And then almost backwards learn accounting.
Absolutely. So what we've done is as soon as you log in, you are presented with a dashboard. And this dashboard gives you a complete snapshot of the health of your business. So any outstanding revenue you have, any total profit, any spending, and then all of the reports are below. So you can, even without knowing exactly what each of the reports do and things like that, you can just open up your FreshBooks account, and the first thing you'll know is what your business health is. If you have this many dollars outstanding, how you've been profiting over the past year, and what you've been spending. So your three main sort of reports are actually presented to you in a way that you can't really avoid it. You're going to know how your business is performing.
It reminds me when you said it. It's like when you go and you put your ATM card in. It's like, this is your balance. You're like, oh, really? Or sometimes you're like, yes.
We're hoping it's the latter, for sure. We want you guys to succeed, for sure. So yeah, no, it's all right there, and it's really easy. And exactly to your point, you can go sit down with your bookkeeper, your accountant. You'll have everything ready that they'll need because of all these reports, and then you guys can work through what's working, what's not, and what you have to change. But we're kind of just there to give you that extra step of presenting you with all the information.
I have to say, I really, really do think that that's a very valuable component of it, because I have empathy for every designer out there that really struggles with the financial and understanding the financial end. I understand the big concepts. I understand the value of it. I understand how important it is to track it and to know it. But the actual day-to-day of doing it, it challenges me as well. And
Sure.
That's why, thankfully, I have my husband doing all of that for us. But I also know, I said it a few moments ago, there will be a time that I will have to take responsibility for this. And for me, this literally just gave me a way of, because what I've often thought about was, in my situation, I'm going to have to take over this at some point, and I'm going to sit down and go, oh, sweet Jesus. Okay, where do I start? And I make that analogy to a designer who, whether they're new in business or 4 or 5 years down the road and really hasn't taken responsibility for their financials, the putting off of it is because it's so daunting. And for me, I'm a learner where if I can see it and feel it in real time, it makes so much more sense to me. And I think a lot of my colleagues probably are learners similarly. And so what I'm thinking, I'm visualizing just what I said. Look, just follow the steps, do them religiously, and then at the end of the month, sit with the buddy next to me who knows more than me and say, okay, I put all this in and it spit this out. Tell me what that means. What does that tell me about my aging? And what does that tell me about my projected expenses? What does that tell me about what do I have to put aside for quarterly taxes? So I think that's really pretty terrific. I have to
Absolutely.
say. Yeah. All right. So just let's backtrack 1 second. Now that I'm like so super impressed at what this can do, let's just for a moment go back to that invoicing process, because I do want to understand. I know one of the things that you said earlier was that it makes invoicing easier, and because of the templates make it more likely to collect payments. So tell us a little bit about that process for now. We just pulled apart expenses and keeping that in. So go the other way, client facing now.
Okay, great. Yeah. So there are, I guess, within the invoice, the best part about our invoices is that it's not just an invoice. It comes with a whole slew of add-ons and integrations and things that will help you further bill your clients. So let's say, for example, I would imagine that, do you guys do a lot of quoting and estimates in your business? Exactly. Yes. So we have the opportunity within FreshBooks to actually, you can create an estimate, you get it approved online right away, as long as your client is answering that quickly, and you can convert that estimate into an invoice all within FreshBooks.
Okay,
which is fantastic. And within that, it'll kind of generate all that information for you, so you don't have to double entry, from the quote to the invoice or anything like that. Which is great. And then from the invoice, you see your template, you kind of customize it the way that you need to with your company logo or imagery and things like that. And you would just sort of open it, you'd click send, and your client would actually be able to pay you directly online. So we do accept credit card payments online, which is great. We have a FreshBooks payment service, as well as we integrate with other third parties such as Stripe, and they are able to just pay you as soon as they receive it. So our hope is that they do that, so you guys get paid faster.
So now here, let me ask you a question. A lot of the designers use a platform called My Doma Studio. My Doma Studio, Julie, is a lot of the things that you're doing here, except for the accounting part. Okay. So we can, in My Doma Studio, here's the things, like you can do an invoice, like you said, and all of those things. But additionally, My Doma Studio allows a designer to actually upload every single picture of every sofa, every lamp, and then there's an item like, so a client will open up her inbox and there will be, if there's 40 items in a client's living room that a designer is proposing that go into it, area rug, 2 lamps, 1 coffee table, sofa, artwork, whatever it is, it's all individually pictured and itemized, and the client can go approve, not approve, approve, not approve. And at the end, all the approved items can get totaled, pay me my money, thanks, have a great day. Okay. The other really cool thing about My Doma is that the designer can invite in other trades to talk. So I'm a window treatment vendor. I can come in and see what the project is, yada, yada. What My Doma doesn't do is all this accounting, this, taking pictures and keeping track of your expenses and the back end and stuff. And so having said that to you, I know that you're really not that familiar with it, but my thought on this was that because I hear what you do. I hear that a designer can invoice a client in FreshBooks, that she can. I get that. But it is a more robust system built exactly for the industry in My Doma. But it sounds like to me that the two together, which was my initial thought in inviting you guys here. So is FreshBook as effective when I have that meeting, those monthly meetings with my bookkeeper and those quarterly meetings with my accountant, if I'm really just utilizing it for all of my operating expenses and not using it as an invoicing tool? I mean, it seems to me those are two different sides of the business, and I'm not at a disadvantage there. Would you agree with that?
I would agree that, yes, if you're just using it for invoices, it's still a very powerful tool. You don't necessarily need to use all those other factors. We've just designed it that way because we know that those are all things that people need to run their business.
No, see, I'm suggesting that we would use it for just the operating expenses, not the invoicing.
Okay, then yes. I mean, you still could. I think you would get a lot more. The best part about all of these things is that all of your expenses, projects, time tracking, all of that thing can be billed directly to an invoice within FreshBooks. So using all of them to ladder back up to invoices is that was the designed experience.
Okay, so when you say go back to an invoice, okay, so what we're saying is that if I am driving to a client in Manhattan and I'm going to pay tolls and pay Easy Pass and pay the bridge and pay parking and buy lunch for the client, what you're saying is that not only am I uploading all of that information, but I'm attaching it to a particular project's net costs.
Right, exactly. And then you convert that into the invoice.
Okay.
So it's all sort of, we're with you through every step of the way through your business. So that's our goal, at least.
Okay. No, I like it. I think I understand. I don't know. You check me, but I'm not sure if you know where I'm going with this, because yes, if somebody's not using My Doma, if they're not using anything, then certainly this is a viable thing for both ends of it. But I happen to know for a fact that the My Doma platform serves a lot more of the touchy-feely robustness from a design standpoint, but it does not do this back accounting. You see, so a designer she can keep track, or he can keep track of all of their invoices related to a project in My Doma, but you're not putting into My Doma your lights and your gas and electric and your rent and all of that. And this is where all of that can happen.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And it's all there for you. And I mean, FreshBooks has also been designed, so it's pretty beautiful as well. We've tried to make it because we do focus a lot with creative professionals. So we,
Right.
do it. Logging in and doing your accounting is never fun. So what we wanted to do is at least make it look great.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Your niche is really driving towards the creatives, whether it's photographers or designers or whatever it may be. It really, that is my understanding of it, that it's not only people who it's not their skill set, but also have a design aesthetic in some way, right?
For sure. I mean, just mostly service-based industries, which a lot of the creative industries fall within.
Right. And one of the things is, if somebody's listening out there thinking, well, I have QuickBooks, I don't need to switch to FreshBooks. What are some of the differences between the two that you now, having a little bit more understanding of our people over here, that think are there advantages? Let's start with that.
Absolutely. So as I've mentioned earlier, FreshBooks is really designed for the small business owners, the non-accountants. We conducted a ton of research to determine what small business owners need to help run their business, and we kind of focus our effort on that. And our mission is to make the world a bit easier for you guys. So we designed this platform to be ridiculously easy to use, and it's really to work as a tool to help grow your business so you can focus on what you want to do. We're a single entry accounting system, whereas FreshBooks is much more robust, and it's great for companies that actually have their own accounting departments, where this one is just really, really easy for exactly to what you're talking about earlier, solopreneurs, or if you're on the run or on the go, it's really simple and ridiculously easy to use. And bonus is that we have an incredible award-winning support team that will answer any calls you might have within 3 rings. So if you do run into any issues, you can pick up the phone or email and you'll get connected to a real person right away.
Wow.
And yeah, it's fantastic. And they're a great group, and we're here to be your partner. We know that running your business can be a bit lonely sometimes, or if you have questions, you're not really sure where to turn, because we kind of do operate or try to partner with you through every stage of your business. We're also there to help you through if you do run into any issues.
Okay. And 2 things in that regard. Number one is that, of course, the podcast is reaching, 120 countries. So is this just for U.S.-based businesses, or is this international?
It's international. In fact, we're actually based in Toronto, Canada.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, so we're a Canadian company. Born here, grown up here, and it's stayed here. So, our founder, Mike, actually lives in Toronto and has kept the whole company here. So that call center, anytime you call your support team or our support team, they're in Toronto. They actually sit right beside me.
Okay. And that was there I have 2 other questions in there. The second one was, is it 24/7 so that even though I might be in Australia, I can reach you in Toronto, or is it Toronto business hours?
It's 8 to 8. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. But if you email, you'll usually get a response really quickly.
Okay. And then along those same lines, the other question I had was, Julie, think about some of the typical onboarding problems that people go through. And these, I don't mean these as barriers, but you know what it is when we all do something, like I'll give you an example, like when you are very, back in the dark ages, you probably don't even remember when you actually had to learn how to email, but like older people like me, and it would be like, you'd hit, it was like here's the big things. Don't hit reply all, make sure what you said, or, you replied to me and you meant to reply. Like, what are some of the silly sort of mistakes that you find that people tend to make in the beginning, and then after like 1 or 2 times of calling the call center or whatever, it's like, oh my goodness, that's so easy now? Are there things like that?
Really, I mean, kind of we've learned a lot over, we've been around for a long time, so we have learned a lot, and that's why this new software has been completely redesigned to sort of alleviate some of those concerns. Whereas, where to go to find a new invoice. We have a really big button that you can push in the top right corner that says new invoice. And so we hope that people can really, it's very easy to use. We actually, when anybody signs up for a new account, there's actually an onboarding guide as well. So as soon as you come in, it'll take you through sort of, okay, let's make a test client. Let's make a new invoice. Things that we do here is, can you take your expenses and bill them directly to an invoice? So we've tried to sort of create within the software little tips and places that we think you might need a little bit more guidance and help you out. There's also like a little question button at the bottom, and it'll give you give you access to a support person and how to get in touch with them if you do have any questions.
Okay. Interesting. All right. I like it. All right. And how about when we were talking a moment ago about, like, you've mentioned a couple of times that it has been designed for that small business and to fit the needs of a small business. But what is small when you think about it? I mean, I've interviewed interior designers that have 50 people on staff. Has that now become too cumbersome for FreshBooks? Or when you say small, you mean under 200 employees? Like, what are we talking about?
It can be anywhere, actually. As I mentioned, solopreneurs, people who have, the way that our pricing actually is structured is based on the amount of clients. So it starts at $15 a month for 5 clients. Then it goes up to $25 a month for 50 clients, and then it's $50 a month for 500 clients. So we do anticipate that our, users will be needing more clients as they grow, right? That's sort of the flow of business. So we hope. So we can definitely accommodate those businesses that do have more, up to 500. And if it actually goes past there, we do have select plans that we can work one-on-one with those businesses as well.
Okay. And I lost it for a second there. 500 per month is the?
No, just 500 clients.
500 clients. Okay. So any one time, or we're talking about rotating in and out? Like, what are we talking about there?
Yeah, so it's at any one point, any active client.
Okay.
So the first plan is $15 a month for 5 active clients, and then the plus plan is $25 a month for 50 active clients, and then there's a premium plan, which is $50 a month for 500 active clients.
Okay. All right. Okay, good. Okay, so that's certainly, it's certainly a big enough system to carry almost any interior designer I've ever talked to's client load.
Absolutely.
I don't know how many of us have 500 clients at any one time.
Up to 500.
Up to 500, right. Okay. And actually, in clarifying, for something like WindowWorks will have way more than 500 clients over a year. So are we saying if Mrs. Smith buys window treatments from me on October 1st and I put all of her information in, and on November 1st I've installed her and she's a completed client in my system, and I do that 100 times a month for 12 months of the year, that's not 1,200 clients. That's, at any one time in a monthly period, I have 100 clients.
Exactly. So you can archive the clients that you're not using, that aren't active. Say they're just a one-time client and you've completed it and everything's done. But if you want to keep their, information in case they do come back, you can actually archive it and then access it later, and they would become another active client.
It comes in and out, and that's exactly, okay, that's how we work it now in the system that we're using. Okay, awesome. All right, so now one of the other things that I was wondering is that you talk about tracking hours, and that is of great value to interior designers. So how does that happen? So say I'm a designer, I've got 2 juniors. Am I tasking my juniors with some little magic uploading of how many hours they worked that day? How are we doing that?
Well, it's actually so, with your employees, they can have access to that project folder, or just a particular client. Let's say they're just working on one client all the time. And we actually have a little recorder. So you can pull it up when you're working on something. You can start it and stop it when you're done that task, and then assign it to that particular client or project. So it's really easy. If you're not in front of your computer, or for some reason, or if you don't have your phone in hand, you can also just go in and manually update them after as well.
So you're saying if I've got a junior working at her desk, filling in floor plans or doing whatever, she goes or he goes into FreshBooks, hits a recording button, and it says, okay, and when they stop, you worked on client, ABC for the last 45 minutes?
Yep, exactly. And you get it down to the second. So you never leave any time on the table. You're billing for everything, which is great.
That's amazing. And because it can happen from the phone, if they walk into the design center and at the door they open the door and they're sourcing fabrics or furniture or accessories, the entire time they're running the recorder, and they walk out the door and say, okay, done.
Yep, absolutely.
That's pretty clever.
just as easy as expenses.
That's pretty clever, Julie. I have to tell you.
We do what we can over here.
Yeah, pretty clever. Okay. All right. And so I guess I'm going to make an assumption that obviously we just stated how we can use this from our phone. So we can put information in. We can probably access it with logins from anywhere. So we can be at home working. We can be on the beach working, and we can access all of our information.
Absolutely. Everything's stored safely and securely in the cloud. So you can access it exactly from your iPad, from your laptop, from your phone. You can either go on browser with your login or use the mobile app. There's a lot of different options, but you're connected anywhere you go.
That's something else. I have to say, I'm very impressed. I really am. I think it's a pretty cool thing. And look, I've said it a couple times during the interview. I am sitting in the seat of probably 80% of the designers listening, where the finance is not my thing. I don't even want it to be my thing. I don't ever want to think about it, but I know how important it is. And if it were up to me to do it, I would want the easiest way to do it so that I knew it was done well. Because if it were up to me in my business, there would be no way that I would take it lightly. You know what I mean? I've learned that from my husband all these years, that
exactly.
There's no point in getting up and working all day if you're not going to keep your money at the end of the day. There's just no point. So
for sure, we really do just want to get you guys paid faster, and we think that through the software and automating everything, it'll really help.
Okay, I love it. So what do we do? I don't remember, Julie. Do we have an offer for the listeners of the podcast? I honestly don't remember.
It's 30-day free trial.
Okay,
which is great. And so all you have to do is just go to freshbooks.com to sign up. But if even after listening to this podcast, you still have a couple of questions, not sure if it's right for your business, I do urge you to give our support team a call. They are incredible, and they can walk you through sort of all of your options and make sure that before you even upgrade or get on that plan, that it's right for your business and it's going to help you succeed. So that email is support@freshbooks.com, or you can give them a call at 1-866-303-6061.
Okay. And then the 30-day free, are we doing freshbooks.com/LuAnn? What are we doing?
Just if you do freshbooks.com and you sign up, there'll be a How Did You Hear About Us section, and you can put in through LuAnn and the Well Designed podcast.
Okay. Well, that is really, I mean, I think the timing is right. We're about to hit the last month of the year. And so let me just ask the technical question now. Say I would recommend anybody who does not have an accounting platform and is not locking down these things is to give it the 30-day free trial. So say a designer, like I'm going to start a diet on Monday, December 1st, I'm going to start this thing and I'm going to get my free trial. Or if a designer enters a couple of projects in that 30-day free trial and then January 1st rolls around, will that information, if they pay for it within the expiration period, will that information roll in or
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. And even if you do the 30 days and Christmas happens and you don't upgrade right away, all of that information will still be stored and ready for you as soon as you pick a plan and you dive right back in.
Okay. Perfect.
You're not missing a beat. Yeah.
Okay. I love that. So you don't have access to it if you don't pay at that point, but it will be there when you decide to get going again.
Exactly.
Okay, because for me, that means that there's no reason to do one of these, I'm so busy now, let me just wait and do this till January. It's like, right. No, get started and play around with it at whatever level you can and understand the value of it for your business if you decide that it has value for your business once you use it.
Exactly. Like I urge everybody to just, do the 30-day free trial and play around. Exactly to your point. Get used to it. See what's working. See what you like, and see actually the potential that it can serve and really help you to get, not make this accounting thing seem so scary anymore. It can be fun.
and you know what? Now I just thought of another question. So I'm thinking about if I'm contemplating the month of December, and it is a busy month for, especially, with all the different holidays that happen in the month. What if, because I've said it like a broken record. It's not how my brain functions. So I would want to, and you tell me if this is logical, is it possible for me to try the 30-day period and really just make up a dummy account like Mrs. Sally Smith and just try uploading my gas receipts, try uploading restaurant receipts, just try entering, project fees and have it all be like a fake thing just so I can really see how it works. And then when I go live, when my 30 days is up, that would sit under a dummy account. But how would it not affect my quarterly and yearly expenses if I put it in there? Can we delete it? I guess is a better question.
Yes, absolutely. So if you did want to kind of go around and have a bit of a dummy account, you can absolutely do that, and get used to it before you start inputting all of your information, and then you can certainly delete it, and then we can just create a new one for you when you're ready to sort of make it official.
Right. Yeah. Because look, money is a scary topic for a lot of us right brain people,
absolutely.
And so I would really rather play with it and test it and see that it does all good instead of finding out once I have a real project in there. It's like, oh heck, I didn't put it to the right project, and oh heck, I didn't put the right amount in. It's like, and then I've got, what's the point? Then it becomes what I just said before, garbage in, garbage out. Now my quarterly and my year-end reports are all nonsense because I screwed up the first 2 projects I put in. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I like that idea of being able to test it during that 30-day period. And then look, the people who aren't as math challenged as me, they probably can go right to a real project. So.
I'm with you. Don't worry.
It's a struggle. It's a real struggle.
It is. That's what we're here for, though. We're going to make it easy for everybody.
It does sound like that, I have to say. Well, Julie, thank you so much for putting up with my shenanigans here and trying to get to the bottom of, I have to have some fun when I'm talking math. That's all I can tell you.
I liked it. I love it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate the 30-day free trial. And I am looking forward to see if a lot of my designers, if I get some feedback from them, if they like the platform or not. Okay.
Us too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so the first thing I have to say about this is if you happen to be sitting there, whether your business is a minute old or 10 years old, and you are not using any system at all to organize, analyze, and take care of your money other than the shoebox system, I literally just groaned out loud, and that I have to say, truly, stop now and sign up for the free trial. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. I absolutely promise you, if you are not using an organized system of some sort, you are leaving money on the table. Okay, that's without question. All right. And I just also want to say that I did, of course, after interviewing Julie, go back to my husband, Vin, and tell him about all of the features and the benefits. And of course, he is utilizing some things, different sources, because of course we didn't have FreshBooks, but he loved it. He liked the idea. He thought that it was awesome. And I would just say to you that he even did say to me, that'd be really terrific, Lou, if you guys took pictures of your receipts and they uploaded all to the spreadsheet and everything. He goes, but I'm just going to tell you, I'd still want the hard copies. So, he's a system Nazi, and our systems have systems and our cross-checks have cross-checks. And so it's not a bad thought. He's exactly right. He said, look, he goes, I love it. I love that it's all automated. I certainly much easier for me to just double check that what has been uploaded is correct. He said, but I would always just make sure that it's always been accurately uploaded. And that would have to be the cross check of the paper. So, but he did say, wow, total time saver. And this sounds awesome. So we have his approval. The other thing is that I like that it was really developed for non-accounting person. I've heard about QuickBooks, obviously. I don't live under a rock. But usually when I hear about it, I hear about how confusing it is. And of course, I'm talking for non-accountants, okay? And the thing about things that are confusing, especially things that are tech and things like that, and money, if they're confusing, they don't get utilized. So if you have a system that you're using, but you're not fully utilizing it because it's hard and it makes you nuts, then I have to say FreshBooks seems like it might be the answer. So it just sounds like it was built for our kinds of brains, if you ask me. So I also love that they have live customer support right in Toronto. You know, I struggle with the tech, and here's the thing. There's so many times a day, a week, a month that I've got to just power through that struggle with the tech thing, because I can't just throw my hands up and say, hey, I can't be bothered. I don't want to figure this out. But when that does happen to me, I want a real live person to help me. I don't really want 20 emails back and forth and having to explain and rewriting and everything else. And so I thought that feature was awesome. And that phone number again is 866-303-6061. However, if email is your jam and that is the best way for you to communicate because that's what you prefer, obviously they have that as well, and that's a plus. And that is support@freshbooks.com. Support@freshbooks.com. Okay, so now Julie mentioned that you can, on the checkout form, you can say that you heard about FreshBooks from a Well-Designed Business podcast so that you can get your free trial. But you also can just sign up through the URL, which is www.freshbooks.com/LuAnn, LuAnn. That's freshbooks.com/LuAnn. And that will also get you signed up for that 30-day free trial. All right. Love to know what you think about it. I'd love to know if you try it. I'd love to know if it is as easy and intuitive as Julie described. I would be surprised if it's not, but I'm certainly willing to hear your feedback. You know how it is. I always want to introduce you to new sources, new platforms, new strategies to help you be more efficient and help you to be more profitable. So let me know if it's working for you. I have to say, this is the perfect time of year. If you have not been using a system, or if you're using one that you don't feel that you are taking full advantage of because it's confusing, join up now. Get organized. Make a commitment to yourself that 2018 is going to be the year that you really, put your big girl panties on and lock it down and do it the right way, okay? Because the thing is, it all starts and ends with the making of the money, right? It's not a hobby. So let's do this. Let's look into your business. Let's look into your finances. Let's get you organized and make sure that you are not leaving any money on the table. Let's make sure that your meetings with your bookkeeper are productive and efficient, and that your meetings at the end of the year in the quarterly with your accountant are also productive and efficient, okay? These are the ways that you forecast and you learn about your business by analyzing your finances, okay? So, all right, so here's the thing. If you want to let me know if you're loving it or not, you can email me at LuAnnNigara.com. You can also connect with me on social media at LuAnn Nigara on Instagram, and on Facebook and YouTube. It's a Well-Designed Business, okay? So love for you to let me know what's happening there. Now, if you want to be on our email list and want to know the different things that are happening, the course launches that we're doing, the upcoming episodes that are coming on to the podcast, you're just going to text the word Design Biz, DESIGNBIZ, to the number 444-999. Okay, you'll go to one screen where you'll put your email address in, and then wham, bam, you'll be on our email list. Okay, alrighty. So try freshbooks.com/LuAnn. Let me know what you think, and I thank you for joining me today. I hope that you have an excellent day. Thank you for joining me again today for another episode of A Well-Designed Business. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks in Livingston, New Jersey, your trade resource for custom window treatments and awnings. Learn more about WindowWorks at www.windowworks-nj.com. All of our music is original music by Room 2 Productions. Please contact us if you want to learn more about original music for your business or your events.